Yeah, we've got a transmission coming in.
10-4.
Yeah, Brian, it's looking more and more like the Arizona Coyotes of the National Hockey League will be relocating to Utah next season.
Players and management has been told they are on their way. They will play next season in Salt Lake City.
The state is a sports state, which leads me to this.
Yes, it is. Welcome in live to the Delta Center. It is time to meet Utah's NHL franchise.
I'll answer it for him for the umpteenth time.
What?
That's right. Welcome back to the Puck Drop Podcast. I'm Cole, the NHL Music Man Chapman, and I'm here with Lieutenant Dangle D, Dustin Edgington.
Getting bucked up.
Getting bucked up. We've got bucked up in the house, and we are brought to you by this guy right here, Mr. Hockeystopz himself. Corey, I don't even know your last name, but
Lingelbuck. Corey
Lingelbuck. All right. Bucked up. Let's cheers to that. So we are here with Corey. He is the owner of Hockeystopz. He is the bread and butter of the hockey community when it comes to local shops, local products, local, anything when it comes to hockey. So let's dive into it, Corey.
Well, so how did you get started? What was your?
So I want to know. How far back are we going?
Oh, as far back as we can.
So we'll go back 16 years old. I'm working at Burger King, and they built a hockey rink behind where I was at in Pittsburgh. And I was like, that's a sport that I had not played, and that looks interesting. And Lemieux was big. Yager was just coming into it. Yeah. So go over, and I said, hey, I don't know anything about this. And I had a pair of old CCMs. And the first thing they said was, well, you're big enough, so we'll make you a skate guard. I said, I can't skate. And they said, well, we're going to take these skates. And they threw them at the wall. And they said, you're going to buy these. And he goes, and you're hired. I was like, cool.
And so it wasn't much of a playing aspect. It was more of just an involvement.
Just trying to get into something, and again, with the community in Pittsburgh, you know how big they are with their sports idols, and especially the Lemieux, who are still infamous down there and making all, he's coordinated with UPMC and everything. I've played with his sons, played against them. I think I fought the team that they were on. Just a lot of little things. But, again, at 16, I started skating, which was a terribly late time frame. And then at 18, I made the Junior Stars, which was like a low-level C team, but for back east and not knowing. And I did my job. So my job was to protect people, and that's what I did. Ooh. So go out, rough people up.
So you were the enforcer.
Do some, you get that. When enforcers existed.
Yeah. Well, and you get that tap on the shoulder and go do your thing. Yeah.
And that, and then made the Junior B Penguin team, and that was how I made the team. Cool. Coach goes, you want on this? And I go, yep. He goes, do you know what you need to do? And I go, what would you like? And he goes, that one. And I said, okay. And then he goes, you're on the team. But back into the skate guard and that, because that's where you really learn about the community, and probably the best job you could have other than owning your shop is being a Zamboni driver, and then understanding what goes into that. But, when these guys drive by at Weber and all that, and the fans are cheering them on because they're cutting the ice, and, it's making it beautiful. And so as I was coming through, I was cutting the ice, and it was the Penguins practice rink, and I ended up hitting Yager with the Zamboni, and that's always my claim to fame.
I remember you mentioning that.
Right.
That's funny.
And we
got to hear about that.
Yeah. No, it was super. I'm cutting the ice before their practice, and he's out there.
And they
dancing,
don't have
for
a
the
guard
ladies
for anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course, Yager for sure.
And that was back when
ladies' man for sure.
So so the lady part of it was unreal. So everybody that was a fan, mostly women, were in the back of the rink, and so as they would be, the guys would leave, they would come through the door and they'd say, "Hey, did they leave anything in the trash?" And I go, "Well," and again, I'm 16 years old, and I go, "What are you talking about, lady?" And she goes, "Like a jock, some dirty underwear." I'm like, you want me? You want that? And I go, okay. And I go outside and I just dump the trash right in the yard. And they attacked the trash. They're smelling it.
Oh, no way.
Now, given these are women from Pittsburgh.
Puck bunnies.
And and
bunnies.
it's a very aggressive town.
Yeah.
You know, we're known for some things, and fighting and drinking beer is one of them.
Well, granted, but
But you know, it's always good people that really support the community. But yeah, they had a real weird kind of fetish for that.
Yeah.
Smelling socks. I don't know. Everybody's got their thing. Who
Did
am
they
I to
find
judge?
anything good?
Yeah, there was some socks in there. There were some old jocks in there that they, you know, just some again.
oops.
Like we all, you know, I'm like, hey, who am I to judge?
Well, granted, but I mean, feet are not one of them for me. So
Yeah, everybody's got their thing.
that's true.
But yeah,
He washes his beard once a week, and that's
Yeah, I know.
that's as dirty as he can handle.
Well, and it's funny because I get lash on it. Like, what do you use? What kind of beard oil? I don't do anything. Once a week I'll shampoo it, maybe condition, and I'm good to go. I mean, I don't.
one of my fire guys, he has the is it Salt City Salts?
The
So he promotes
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And he's got the stash all tweaked out and that. So
Or you
really
just-
good guy,
Well, not yeah. It takes me forever, like a golf tee.
right?
I'll take a golf tee and have to like hairspray it to get that curl.
Okay, so that,
If I do
he says
actually.
that those salts actually do it for him. So
Really?
that whole branding and everything.
Well, we'll have to get in touch
Yeah,
with him.
we'll
Just
get him. I can get you in contact.
throw some curlies on
Get some
these.
nice ones for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Make you all
For
pretty.
sure. Yeah.
So where'd you go after Pittsburgh? I mean, after you're 16 years young and moving on up and playing the game and sport,
So
where did it lead you to?
went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania for college for a year, and I didn't do well there because that was the first time like out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot of lessons, and none of them were about education.
Well, that's where you get the experience to learn.
Life lessons
Yeah.
are
I mean,
awesome.
That's true. That's
So
facts,
after that,
a better lesson than school. Sorry.
walked out, joined the Marine Corps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dad. You know, we
I was gonna say,
we own a
you were
construction
military,
company back
right?
home, or we did. He just retired.
And you
But-
spent how many years in the Marine Corps?
So I did 4 years active, and then I joined the reserve unit with the Air Force for another 23. So I had 27 years and just retired, 2 years ago?
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I was going to say.
First one.
Also, I have your jersey hanging up behind you.
Nice.
Well done. For the firefighting as well. So.
Oh, gotcha from Jay.
So after the Marine Corps, you came to,
Nope.
did you come to Utah or?
Marine Corps, I went back home,
Yeah.
back to Pittsburgh, try to get my feet under me. Dad, again, construction. So that's what I figured I was going to do with my life. And there wasn't nothing wrong with it. Again, it beats you up,
Oh,
But-
yeah. A roofer.
Why do you think we started this podcast?
right?
Whatever
And
it takes.
yeah, so we were, I had a plan and an idea of where I wanted to take the company. And he had a different plan, which was no.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm the boss. And I said, cool.
Right.
So I'm trying to find your legs. And again, and then 9/11 occurred, and I was on a roof. And that morning, he got angry enough that he kicked the radio off the roof. So it wasn't until, and we're in Pittsburgh, so it wasn't until 1 o'clock that time that the lady came up from downstairs. She goes, hey, you guys hear what happened? And we go, no idea. And again, I just got out of the Corps. She's
Wow.
like,
About how old were you when that occurred? Out of curiosity.
24?
So I was in like 4th grade when that happened.
Yeah, thanks.
And that was
Way to
like,
date me. Thank you.
well, I'm not dating you. I'm not dating you. I'll buy you dinner before we do that.
All right.
But
Pull my hair.
you got to grow one first, and I'm right there with you. I'm just teasing, but no, it was. I remember principal coming walking in with a picture and showing us, and I'm young to
Right,
the point
no
where
doubt.
I'm like,
Oh, we
what
had
is
the
this?
rollout
Like,
TVs. We watched news all day.
Oh, really?
at
See,
school.
I didn't
Yeah.
get that. He just showed us a library book,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
can only imagine being older to understand, right?
Right.
And having
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's crazy that me and you even remember it, like
Oh, I
based on
remember it.
our age.
I'll never forget that.
But
Like,
yeah,
it was.
Yeah. No, that was exactly where I was at. And then, he's like, okay, let's go home.
yeah.
Because what we were seeing as, we were on a main road and we're looking at, I'm like, why are there no cars out here?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't know. And I go, do you think something might have occurred that maybe we should know about? And it's just at that time that lady came out and it's like, this happened. So we get in the car and we're listening to the radio going home and get there. And my first wife was glued to the TV, oh, poor this. What are you going to do? And then my initial when I was in the Marine Corps, I was firefighter.
I'll be ready to fight
I was
or
like,
flight. Like I'm
calling
going.
my buddies, hey,
Where
how do we
going?
get there?
What are we doing? Yeah.
What? How do And then that night, got a phone call from my guy Kevin that's out at the range, and he goes, "I got a job for you if you want back in the fire department." And I said, "Done."
Let's go.
Yeah, 363 days later, I was here in Utah. And
Well,
it
hey,
was-
and appreciate you
And
for
that's
your
what
service.
brought you here.
and that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
I've got
Yeah.
chicken skin right now, if you can't tell, but
Yeah, you need
No.
to shave.
well, I did, but it's now chicken skin because
But yeah,
Thank
that
you
one
for your
always
service.
gets you. It's like, again, when you think about it, you can get choked up and teary eyed and all that weird shit. And surprisingly, as I get older, I get to understand more of who I am and just like what you do and why you do it.
Yeah.
So, like, why Hockeystopz exists is we had gone somewhere and I took
I'm glad you dove into that because I was
20
getting ready
some
to
skates.
mention that.
I know how to do this.
I love it. I'm just going to shut
And I
up. I
took
love
20
it.
some pairs of skates down to get them taken care of. And 3.5, 4 hours later, I come back. All the skates were not level. So my left edge, right edge were not right. So the game that night was terrible. I'm like, I spent this much money, this much time. I had to take her to dinner. And she eats.
Shout out.
And I come back and I go, I can do better. And so I started a little bit. And I got the Sparks machine, which is a good machine. Just kind of, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy a little trailer. And for 6 years, I just did the best I could for the people.
Yeah.
And
Well, and the knowledge that you know, I mean, when we've had multiple conversations before, right, at the shop,
no doubt.
and I've played since I was 3 years old, and just to hear what he knows about everything, like down to the science, is unbelievable. I mean, you were chirping off things that I didn't even know what was even.
Like you walk in there thinking and you're
Well,
like,
and like
he's
I need
nah,
like a
hang
half
on.
cut, quarter cut, whatever. You're like, right, and he's
Right.
just like, well, do you want this bevel? Like, da-da-da. And I'm like, what? And then like just we continued on with conversation, and I'm like,
Exactly.
And that was how
crap.
Hockeystopz was born.
I mean, and
In
that's
a trailer.
In a trailer. Love it.
though.
Love that
That's
story.
incredible though,
Yeah.
to know that what you know, and I don't know it, but that's why I want
Yeah.
you to continue.
Well, entrepreneur stories are always interesting. My sister, shout out Megan, she was on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And I helped her kind of build that business, and we were doing it in a garage, and
Gotcha.
it was just, the memories of those days are awesome.
Well, and now I'm like, we're going to get him a
Yeah.
place in Park City. And I hope everybody watching this deserves to see this that will help out with that. So,
And we just opened in Logan on Saturday,
yep.
Yep. And your
Congratulations.
grand opening is
October 12th.
I mean, this is going to air, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
It'll air after October 12th, but
And I've spoke with some people today for you as well.
if you haven't heard about the grand opening,
That's when it would have been.
Yeah, it would have been on October 12th, but they'll be fresh and ready.
All good
and,
things sometimes take time.
Yeah,
Right.
We're
yeah.
putting it out there, and that's it.
And that's a hot market up there.
We went in conjunction with Utah State. I got 2 of their boys working for us.
Good.
One, Brendan, being from Alaska. Sam's from Minneapolis or Minnesota, not Minneapolis,
Cool.
but
I love that. And then obviously that's still community driven, just like what we're trying to push for everything, right? Like, and we've had conversations that I have and him with today on getting you into Park City. So
Yeah. And not only that,
Shout
like it
out.
just doesn't stop there. Like there's so many
there's-
avenues that
well,
we talked to a bunch of people. And again, for me personally, before we even knew Utah was going to have a hockey club, my thought process was, okay, who needs us? Then the most people that come to our shop are going, we really need you here. We need you here. And then Logan was like, we need you here. And that was as soon as I opened the doors. And I'm like, okay, it took 4 years to get there. And I'm like, all right, so I can whittle that down. Who else needs me?
Yeah.
Like Park City, or not Park City, Provo has asked. A lot of theirs, they were working with Play It Again, and then
Play It Again
burnt
Sports,
down. And they said something that, we could really use something like that. And I said, that'd be awesome. I said, let me work on that, okay? Idaho Falls doesn't have anything.
And I know that as a business owner yourself, right? You can't just go throwing around money.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's one of those things where it takes a community,
strategy.
community
Yep.
and everything else to help build this to where it's deserved to where it needs to be. So
Right.
huge
And
shout out
we've
to
seen
the
it
hard
everywhere.
work and we're trying to help out as much as we can. And don't get me wrong, we're going to continue that as well. So
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if there was 10 Hockeystopz or 20.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't have the ability to compete financially with a large organization.
Right.
But I know who I am and why I'm doing what I do. And I
Well-
think that's more important than trying to fight for $1.
Yeah.
But you have the
Well,
ability to cater to any need, right?
Correct.
Within the
Well,
hockey community.
His knowledge, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I actually got the whole rundown, and that's what just previously, like we talked and spoke about. I was like, what? And it's like everything is just dialed.
Yeah.
Like it's just an absolute beast right here of knowledge of what needs to be done with what needs to be pertained to.
So
It's crazy.
with the Utah Hockey Club now here, are you thinking about I assume you're probably thinking about the future, right? Thinking about how you can capitalize on the new hockey club being here and all the youth growth and beer league growth and everything like that. What's your plan? What 5-10 year?
Right, no doubt. And I think the word capitalize is always like one of those ones that irks me. It's like, and again,
it's accomplishments, not success at first.
Nothing I do is for the money.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why
But
shout out
but
again.
you do need money to work.
Right.
So I have employees, really good people. I got Dan and Grace that are running my stores, and I'm teaching them. They know how to do stuff. But like you were saying, everything's within millimeters when we're doing it. And just explaining and understanding how the body works naturally. And as an EMT guy, you figure out that part. And then, Dad taught me how to work machines and then understanding stuff. And then you go back to roofing and you go, okay, this is because I know how to work. And then you know how to work all day without eating.
Yeah.
So you just bang it out.
So you just want to help people.
Yeah.
Like you're not in it for
do the best
Yeah.
you can for everybody and as many people as you can make better. And I always say, I was like, if one kid makes it to the NHL and he remembers me and he gave a shout out or maybe 10% of that first contract.
Yeah.
But then so that we can make more.
Yeah.
But again, as any business owner knows now, you have different personalities out in the world. And you have maybe a good kid that's kind of not great at this, but he's good and solid. And he's not going to steal from you. And you can teach him. And he's going to listen. And in 10 years, he can be running a shop.
Oh, without a doubt. Or he could be in the NHL.
Or he could be there.
I mean, you've got to be coachable when it comes down to hockey,
Right.
in general. And that's why I feel like the community is just so strong. For one, exactly what you're doing. You provide and with what you do. I mean, it's just incredible. And then you've got you've got to be coachable. You've got to be, make sure that you're a leader, not a boss to an extent, right?
Right.
And that's exactly where you come in, is you're doing the service of giving the Utah State players, an opportunity to have work. You're giving Weber State players the opportunity to work in the Ogden one, right? And then and that just continues to flow.
Right. Yep.
And that's just the most important thing you can do. And that's kind of why we want to make sure that we succeed. And I don't like that word, succession.
You don't succeed.
I like accomplishments.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the word accomplishment because nobody just succeeds and then you're done.
Yeah.
We're here to accomplish
And grow.
and
be
then
good.
continue to keep going.
Well,
and moving forward.
I'm just gonna shout it out now. I don't think we would be where we are today if it wasn't for Corey.
No,
at
no,
Hockeystopz.
absolutely shout out.
Straight
because
up, like-
you literally, this is,
You came
are the
in
reason.
early, and we were blessed by it. And
You are the 100% reason
Yeah.
this is even a thing right now.
I mean, I would have probably sold my truck by now if
I mean, I would have,
if it wasn't for Corey just trying to make this thing work. And you've helped. a ton.
serious,
So
not even
cheers
trying to
that,
get
yeah.
bucked up, but just,
Yeah.
I'm serious. That's so real.
Seriously.
100%. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you all
mean,
came in off the street. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Well, I just,
It sounds like a good idea.
Cold called.
Why wouldn't I
Yeah.
cold
support
called
something?
the crap out of you. And I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, look, this is what we're trying to do.
Well, and we want to, like, your goal, right, is to, from what I've heard, you want to provide whatever necessary for the Utah Hockey Club. Is that correct? You
Right.
want to
For them.
you want to try
and
and
everybody
get so
below and
Ryan,
above them.
if you're listening, Ryan Smith, anybody from the Utah Hockey Club, this is your guide. This is local. It's keeping it local. I know Ryan Smith is big on that.
Right. I've heard that.
This guy can handle all of your gear, all of your blades, all of your skates, anything that you need, Corey's your guy.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, I know you're building a new shop down there at Southtown. That would be great.
Oh yeah,
Great place to start at.
Perfect.
And again,
have you looked into that?
Everybody's talking.
Right.
And just like everything, you guys pushing me out. There's some other individuals that are talking. I don't want to go where I'm not wanted.
right. But you got to have the exposure first.
Right. And,
So-
we've got the right people in the right place talking to, and
Yes.
they are talking to the right people.
Good.
So I think that's the biggest part. And
It's a slow burn.
It's a slow
It's a
burn.
slow process.
It is.
Yep.
And there was always like one of those things like, I've never been taught to walk around with my hand out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, we're going to have a conversation. If we feel good together, we feel good. If we don't, if you're not feeling it, don't feel it. It's like there's, plenty of fish in the sea kind of thing. That thought process.
But also, it's well deserved because getting to know you on a personal level, there's no such thing as corporation when it comes to people like Corey.
Yeah.
I mean, it needs to be local. And if you are about being local, he's your guy.
Keep it local.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other side is like understanding that, like, though I own the business, I'm not the most important person there because I work, when you come through the door, I'm working for you. I'm working for you. I'm working for my employees. Because if your employees aren't happy,
Right. Exactly.
things go bad real fast.
Exactly.
But I tell, all of our people, I go, we work for every one of these.
Yep.
Every person that comes through that door, that's who you work for. You don't just work, like I make your schedule and I'll pay the bills.
That's it.
And that's the
But we
difference
work for
between a
them.
leader and a boss.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
100% between a leader and a boss. And that's this guy right here.
So there's a lot
And
of
I love
talks about not only obviously the hockey community growing, but ball hockey. All right, ball hockey and
Yeah, you guys call it ball hockey. Back east, we call it deck hockey.
Oh,
deck
really?
hockey.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it's
Cool.
played on a deck type surface.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
because Grace was at school today. She's like,
Well-
I'm playing ball hockey. I go,
Yeah.
you mean deck
Yeah.
hockey?
Oh, really?
So have you
where-
considered that? Like,
So-
have you started prepping for the
Well-
potential of people needing certain gear that
Well-
is more deck
Right.
hockey?
Deck hockey is the
We're looking for a facility
okay.
or some sort of
We've
that.
been talking to the
boards.
guys down
So,
south, Gabe and
I grew
them.
up playing
Right,
hockey
yeah,
with
I
the
was
Stars
watching
and
you guys with Gabe.
Tommy and Gabe, right? Tommy Rupp and Gabe. I didn't know that they were going to drop a segment on the news last night. And this will air a week after, but I didn't know they were going to drop a segment on that when we had a conversation with, his name's Corey as well, by the way, about what they're trying to move up north. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Because they've
I'm
got a
all
league
in.
down there that's doing great.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
a big time league
They
down
have,
in southern
they have
Utah.
boards. They have
Yeah.
the KJ's Ice Barn donated their old boards.
Right, okay. I know where you're at. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
For their-
and so we're
for
like,
their
well,
ball
why can't
hockey.
we move that up here as like
I-
an experience to,
That
even
thought
if you're
process.
not.
Yeah.
So as we were in the trailer, so right next to where I live is the Hinckley Airport. The Hinckley Airport has a lot of open land.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
And I was like, I could put a deck hockey
Yeah.
rink right there. The thought I think, and this was 10 plus years ago. I was like, but the community, I don't know if the community understands it enough.
Well-
But it's from a
And they're about
financial
to learn.
perspective.
Well, now that we have the NHL, that's
Right.
another movement. And I mean, it's like,
And it's a
let's-
good starting place for
Right.
kids to
And
get
super
into the
inexpensive.
can't ice skate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no skates. You got a pair of
Yep.
shoes on, a stick,
nets.
and a helmet, and some
Yep.
gloves, and these plastic shin pads
Yep.
that kind of stop
Yeah.
the pain.
And I work in a design engineering office. I told Destin, I was like, I'm going to start modeling up a rink and just price it out, really, just to see how much it would cost to a movable.
And like everything,
know.
it's typically the older, some old boards, and you can find them anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I think actually, I know a couple guys that have.
I mean, I don't care if we go
go.
buy, hey, I don't care if we go buy hay and throw up some
Throw it
hay
around
bales.
the end.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Seriously.
yeah,
Whatever it takes to get people involved.
I'll take
I mean,
a
that's-
check into a bale of hay.
Well, you don't have to. I'll check you into Bella Hay, but I'm,
You can try.
I will. But I mean, that's also on foot. But it's also like you're saying, it's one of those things where, the money aspect of certain aspects, excuse me for saying that twice, but to move forward when you can't afford something.
it opens
And
it to
then-
more members of the
But then
community.
yes, and then you can, depending on if you like it or not, you can continue to play. But it's getting to be, it's expanding rapidly. And we love to see anywhere you can play. I mean, even if it is just, deck hockey or ball hockey, I mean, that's important.
I like deck hockey
as long
better.
as you,
I'm going to start calling it that.
As long as you have a hockey stick in your hand, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, the Utah Hockey Club is hiring somebody for a ball hockey league right now.
Oh, is that
So
right? Okay.
I didn't know that.
I refresh the job page probably about once an hour because I want the music job.
I didn't know they were doing that.
And they won't post it. Utah Hockey Club.
Well,
you're
they're
making
probably-
a mistake if you don't at least look at me for your music. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, and look at him for his shop,
Yeah,
and look at me
yeah.
for my beard. I don't know.
Everybody gets a look.
Get
At
us in an
least.
office. Let's talk, right? I don't know.
Well,
I
and
have opinions
have-
on how they're.
But we also have a lot of fun things going forward.
Right, definitely.
And then also a lot of what needs to happen going forward with donations to certain things that, we
Yeah.
and just like you, we wouldn't be here without you.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
it's
guys.
just
Seriously, thank you, man.
No, it's literally one of those things that you just can't wrap your whole head around.
Oh, she doesn't know that you sponsor us.
She knows. She just doesn't know all the details.
The wife's in the room.
No, thank you. Well, we're shouting you out right
Well, think
now,
about
so.
that. Like, one of those thought processes, like, you got relationships, you got wives, you got everybody that supports you also that you see, but you don't acknowledge, you see, but you don't recognize.
Right.
And most of the time when you do have that conversation, they're not around to hear you and I talk about whatever is going on in my life and your life and going, like, man, if I didn't have the support unit at home, I would be so worried about life.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you're comfortable in a relationship and a marriage as such, there's so much more that a person can do.
Absolutely.
Men and women on both sides. If you're whatever's running around on you, you're not in a good headspace.
Right.
But when you have stability, which is everything that you need on the ice also when you're skating,
And
you can go faster, you can cut harder.
and shout out to your wife and
And-
shout out to
and-
my
and
wife because I think I texted you the other day. I was like,
I don't know if she's ready.
I was
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
even
my
though she
wife
doesn't
is-
know the numbers or
Right.
whatever you're doing behind the scenes,
It's all there.
thank you for always being there.
But the wives love hockey as much as they can, right?
Right. As much as they can.
And then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not doing 6 days a week of hockey with you. You go ahead and do it. But we're wrapping up here. We got about a minute left. So
Copy
let's
that.
shout out anything that you want real quick to the community.
So, I mean, me alone, we got Lucky Slice Pizza. Those guys are awesome. I love their pizza.
Absolutely.
It's awesome that Bucked Up stepped up to support you guys.
Yeah.
So now you can get bucked up on the puck drop.
Yeah.
Well, we also have Hockeystopz, so
Got myself,
Most importantly.
Hockeystopz Cache Valley Logan, and Hockeystopz Ogden. The Mustangs are awesome. Weber State kids are awesome. Utah State, Utah Valley kids, you have no idea how much their coach actually communicates with me. Miguel, great guy.
hard workers up that.
It's unbelievable, like all the little people that you come across. But again, it's the community, and they know that the sacrifices that everybody in the world's making for that.
Yeah.
Davis County, they stepped up. We do their jerseys for them. They're always there. They're sending their people, and it's always that little bit of community that's like, hey, go talk to them. And they're like, hey, so and so sent me. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you for
and
sending
that's-
them, because we can't stay open with without money.
Yeah.
But we just need enough to get by.
Well, and we love to hear that. So
Well, thanks for tuning in. This has been the Puck Drop Podcast. We are brought to you by Hockeystopz, and we're here with Corey. We'll see you again next time.